Hey, what's up, Dedric?
Hey, what's up, Dave?
Hey, man, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you now. How's it going?
It's going well. I've been sitting in this corner of my house for about a month now, and I'm getting used to it.
Same here. We're in the home office. Thanks, Elise. Got
Whoa,
my deal machine swag.
that looks good on you.
Yeah, Crystal's getting the kids situated. She's be in a couple of seconds. She
Okay,
has
sounds good.
to go as well.
How is it parenting while in quarantine? How has that been for you guys?
Woo, man. It's a challenge.
You know what? It's going to be over. When is their semester over? A month?
So ours get out of school May 23rd because our son's birthday is the 24th.
Okay.
So their last day is the 23rd of May.
Okay, that's still a ways. Still got a little ways to go.
Way too far away. I'm gonna just be honest with you.
Right. So in the meantime, though, you guys have been able to get out and drive for dollars, I saw.
Oh yeah.
Hey, we're addicted to driving for dollars. I mean,
Anytime we drive,
it's
drive
literally
for
a
dollars.
lifestyle for us. Anywhere we go, we just spot properties. Like, we can't even help ourselves. When we're not trying to drive for dollars, we'll be like, oh, hold on. I just saw a house that I'm going to put in the machine. It's just, I don't know if it's just where we live or just realizing that every house could be a potential payday, if you contract it and sell it or flip it or rent it.
No, I just think it's when you're in real estate and you're like really, really in it and you're active and it's your lifestyle at that point, you're never not looking at real estate. Like every house, it don't matter what neighborhood, it could be the best neighborhood in the world,
I mean, you probably do this.
the worst neighborhood in the
Oh,
world.
of course I do it. Yeah.
That's why I said we drive for dollars anytime we leave our house because we're looking at houses every time we leave our house.
It doesn't matter where
Even
it
if we're
is.
just going to the grocery store. That's why I tell people I always go a different way. And even if it's a way that I typically would go, I just look down side streets just in case.
Go down random side streets, see if you'll see a messed up vacant house.
It could be a dead end.
Fun.
I'll detour down the dead end real quick.
It's fun.
Because I have time.
It's good that you both enjoy doing it. I used to date, when I was first starting DealMachine, I used to date a girl and she got mad at me for adding properties on our walks because I wasn't paying attention to her. And we're not dating anymore.
Hey, she couldn't cut it.
Right.
You need you as someone who's deal machine everything.
She wasn't the one, Dave.
Deal machine has become a verb, right? Deal machine your house. It's a
Right.
hashtag.
Right.
So congrats on that.
But now the girl that I'm dating, Laura, she really likes to go driving for dollars.
Okay.
That's a prerequisite.
We've done, prerequisite. We've done a full Saturday before. And then on Easter Sunday, we actually took an 8-mile walk together. We didn't mean for it to be that long, but we were just kind of walking around and getting out of the house. And we took photos of, houses that we saw, and it turned into 8 miles rather, not 8 hours. It took a few hours though.
You got your M&M on. 8 miles.
I think we got some deals coming.
Nice. I seen you flip a couple. You brought some more in Indianapolis.
Yeah, well, I'm inspired by you guys building a rental portfolio. That was my goal starting out too. And so I've got 8. I just finished up my 8th property, and I just got my 9th one under contract.
Congrats.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you very much. The last 2 were actually really close to my house because I moved into like a neighborhood that's just got a lot of gentrification happening and gentrification ahead of it. And so I just I'm surrounded by a lot of opportunities.
Absolutely. And you know that neighborhood, so
Yep.
Right.
When you know a neighborhood, it goes a long way.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. It makes running the comps easier. You know where people are buying and people are able to get the value from the house.
Absolutely.
Hey, Elise.
Well, I saw Elise on there for a second, and then I think she turned her video off. There you are.
Elise.
Hey, you guys look so good in your deal machine swag. I mean, I'm biased,
Hey,
but
I was just watching your video, your live, I think it was yesterday on the new update.
I was too excited. I was like, I have to go live with So, yep.
Your blog.
Yeah, that was on the virtual driving for dollars extension. Have you guys used that before?
Yeah, Dedric uses it all the time.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, being able to sit on your laptop in your house and drive for dollars on Google. I mean, it's amazing. I do it more on the computer, on the laptop or desktop, and Krystal does it on her phone, virtually driving for dollars from the house.
All day, every day.
That's awesome. I know that, you guys joined us about 6 months ago, I think, for a webinar like this. And I wanted to retell your story because I think there's people on here that haven't met you before. And I see some people asking some questions already, like, how did you guys start out? Obviously, you've been really successful. You made $500,000 worth of equity and wholesale fees within your first 6 months of using DealMachine. So I think a lot of people want to know, like, how did that magically happen for you guys?
Wow. Where do you want to start?
So how it originally happened is we were like struggling with marketing, and we had paid a lot of experts in the area of marketing to teach us niche marketing. So expert in cold calling, another expert in pulling lists, things of that nature. So we were spending all this money,
thousands of dollars. We're paying consultants. Like, how do we do this marketing thing?
Right. And so one day I was watching a video. So I had literally just got into marketing. And I was like, well, I had to take it off Dedric's plate.
We both have full-time jobs at this
Right.
point. So this was early 2018.
Yep. And I said, I got to take at least one of the bigger parts of real estate off his plate. So I took the marketing aspect of it. And I really hated it first. So I'm trying to figure it out. I come across the video of Maxwell's. And it's the video of him saying the 3 things I use.
Top 5 apps or tools.
No, it was like the top 3 things I use in my business every day. And it was DealMachine.
Few other apps.
Yeah, DealMachine. Landglide was the other one. I don't remember what the third one was, but I immediately went and downloaded DealMachine and Landglide. So, I went to Dedric first. I said,
because we were doing cold calling. That was our primary strategy.
That was our first strategy.
As we had outsourced cold calling, we were pulling lists and sending it to a VA team who was calling 1,000 people a day, and we were getting a handful of leads a week. And we had got a few deals on the contract, but nothing was closing. So it was still slow. This was like 3 months into cold calling as our primary strategy when she found DealMachine.
And so I went and I asked Dedric, I said, hey, listen, I just saw this video of Max, and told him the app. I was like, he uses this app called DealMachine. And I said, it does his direct mail for him. I said, I think we should get it. He was like, no, because that's just going to be one more thing we pay for and then we don't even use. We're not going to get that. So I said, okay, great. We're doing it. So I downloaded that.
I'm glad she didn't listen to me.
That's how the conversation went. He was like, no, that's going to be something else we're going to end up paying for. And we're not even going to use it. We got too much stuff. We're cold calling.
We're spending about $1,000, $1,500 a month investing in cold calling. And again, not getting any deals out of it. Getting leads, trying to get stuff on the contract, but still banging our head against the wall.
Right.
So it was frustrating.
So I'm sitting in the office, he was at the desk. I said, okay, great. And I literally, as he was saying, I had my phone. I said, okay, great. We're getting it. And I hit the information to download right while I was still standing in front of him. Walked out, downloaded the app, and started looking at a lot of you guys' videos on YouTube. And then, you didn't even have a lot at that point. So it might have been like, I'm going to say maybe like 6 or 7 videos you guys might have had. And I watched like all of them. Every video. So I was like, okay, bet. So we just started driving. He had no idea what I was doing. I was always constantly saying, hey, slow down.
Yeah, so I would be driving around town. We're going to the grocery store. We're running errands. And she would be like, slow down. I'm like, why do you want me to slow down? What are you talking? No, I got to get a picture of this house. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm driving for dollars with that app I told you about. And I'm like, annoyed, pulling over.
He was so
I didn't really
annoyed.
know what she was doing. And she was just like, every 5 minutes,
totally
she was like,
annoyed.
pull over, I need to take a picture.
And I mean, I was at that moment, like, and I recruited my mom at that point. I recruited her to drive for us. And as she was driving, because she was our nanny as well, I was building out our deal finder program. And I was documenting everything I was doing.
She was our first deal finder.
With her. And she got to a point where she was uploading like 100 properties a week for us. And I was trying to scale it because I remember in the video, you was like, hey, get to at least 200 properties, and you should see some traction. So I remember we got our very first DealMachine call, and we had, it was about 60, I think it was like 66 properties entered, 67 properties entered into DealMachine. And that was our very first call. So I started to see the ones that were calling back.
Mm-hmm.
Were the motivated ones, which were the properties that were vacant.
Mm-hmm.
So I realized then, I said, okay, let me focus on the properties that were really vacant and really run down, but occupied.
Mm-hmm.
They were absentee owners.
Absentee. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they were rentals. I could see they were occupied. So that's what my main focus was for us when we first got started. And our phone started blowing up from that. And when I quit my job, when I fired my boss, June
2018.
Of 2018, June 8th, 2018.
Mind you, we still hadn't closed the deal. And we were like going hard from January to June, spending money, investing in marketing, sending out postcards, cold calling. We still had not closed the deal. We had a couple close calls where we had deals under contract that we were trying to wholesale, ended up falling through. And again, we could have given up. A lot of people would have given up.
Yeah.
But we invested too much money into it. And we were like, we can't give up. We have tens of thousands of dollars we put into making this work.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta keep going.
So from the moment I quit my job, June 8th, 2018, that following week, we had 4 contracts. And all 4, Dedric was like, he was like, man, I can't believe this week is crazy. He was like, yo, this cold calling is work. And I said, those are not cold call leads. And he was like, no. And I said, no, those are DealMachine. And he was like, what is DealMachine? I said, that's that app that you told me not to do. And he was like, show me how that DealMachine worked. Literally, he had never even looked at it until he realized that all of the contracts that we had were DealMachine leads originally. Mm-hmm. So that's how we really got started.
And
from
then
that moment,
I jumped on the bandwagon like, we need to find some more houses to put into this DealMachine.
At that point, he was like, okay, let's go back to the drawing board with this marketing. And we scrapped the cold calling and we poured all of our marketing dollars into DealMachine. Mm-hmm. We were seeing a higher return at that point.
Yeah, I mean, the response rates were crazy. So we live in a small town in North Carolina, central region of North Carolina. It's probably about 120,000 population. And in those smaller towns, I mean, direct mail just kills it. So again, you're combining driving for dollars with direct mail, and it was just, we're getting a 5% response rate versus where I know in some bigger cities where it's real competitive, you may get 1% or less. And people were calling us back on the first postcard. Yeah, I got 10 properties for sale. Yeah, I got this property. And we were just like, man, this stuff works, because the gurus who we went to and try to get knowledge and tips from it always says, hey, do direct mail, do direct mail. Mm-hmm. When we asked how, they were like, well, I send out 20,000 mailers a month.
Right.
And we're like, well, how much does that cost you? They're like, oh, about $20,000, $30,000 a month. And we're like, that's almost someone's yearly salary. We couldn't afford that.
He said, stop playing with us.
The other benefit of DealMachine, it allows you to start sending direct mail on a much smaller scale and close a couple deals by spending a few $100, maybe $500, $1,000, and then you take that money you make and you can start growing your marketing. Mm-hmm. So I noticed someone had asked, what do we do before we got into real estate? So as far as backgrounds, we both graduated from college. I went to a school called Amherst College up in Massachusetts, graduated there in 2004. Had a full academic scholarship there. She went to Northeastern University in Boston. We both went into corporate America right out of college. I had a career doing sales and marketing for a pharmaceutical company first, and then software and technology companies. Did very well in that career. But I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. Since when I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I was like 21 in 2001, I read that. I was like, I got to be a real estate investor. I got to get to that B quadrant, that business owner investor side. I don't want to be an employee for the rest of my life. So even when I had a corporate job making good money, I always had a side hustle. So I've sold kitchen knives. I've sold insurance. I sold Cutco. I was one of the top college students selling Cutco. That's how I learned sales as a college student. But I've sold just about everything.
Yeah.
I always had an interest in real estate. And then it kind of came full circle when we got into real estate 2017, 2018. And it's been an amazing ride since then. You want to tell a little bit of your background?
Yep. And right out of college, I went into corporate American management. And it's kind of like exactly what we did prior is what's transitioned over into our business now. And the roles that we carry within our own company and corporate structure. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 18 when I started incorporated my very first business in Boston. I literally always had a business from 18 on up, as well as nonprofits. When I met him, it was no different. Our first date was a business meeting. And that was just to make sure, I wasn't gonna waste no time. I needed to make sure we were equally yoked. So when we got together and we knew everything was what it was, our very first business together was Airbnb. So I try and tell a lot of couples early on, if you can, make sure you guys are equally yoked, but don't wait 10 years down the line to start a business. Get into it early. Find your strengths and find your way early on. So that is us.
Love it. There was a motorcycle gas station meeting too, right? Was that?
So we met at a gas station.
Motorcycle part coming.
I
ride motorcycles.
He does.
Yeah.
He did. Let me put that. He did.
Before we had kids.
Right. Because as soon as I got pregnant, I said, you might as well put that up, sell it, do whatever you want to do with it. But we won't be playing those games. I'm not raising no child alone. Yeah, we actually met at a gas station. And go to tell you too, I mean, you can meet somebody a little bit of everywhere. You gotta keep them eyes open, And that was what,
2010, so 10 years. We've been together 10 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on the 10 years, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks. Matter of fact, our anniversary comes up the 20th of this month too.
Wow.
April 20th.
Yeah.
I just happened to have seen it.
Yeah, she locked me down.
No, he locked me down.
That's really exciting, guys. We'll have to keep that in mind. And I don't know what you're going to do for a date. You probably put the kids to bed early, maybe. And
right.
then,
We still have date nights here.
Yeah, that's good. Well, the people want to ask some questions. So I want to start getting them some answers here. And that context was so helpful for those that haven't met you before. And, we got to hear and see how the sausage was made. You guys made $500,000 in 6 months. Paul Morgan's got a bunch of questions. He actually wrote down 10. He just wants to know everything from what's your price range to what's your profit per deal. I don't know if you guys can read that. He's got a bunch of questions.
Okay, here, Paul Morgan. Okay. What is our price range? So price range as far as houses we target with our marketing is entry-level homes. So our main market in North Carolina, and we invest nationwide.
I'm about to say that's not completely accurate because we're in multiple markets. So it's different in each market. Yeah.
So primarily in North Carolina, it's sub 250. So anything between 50,000 and 250,000 is what we run into. In Boston, it's $500,000 to $1 million. So it really depends on the market you're in. I'm not sure what market you're in, Paul, but that entry-level price point where someone's buying their first home or their starter home is a great market too. I don't know what your strategy is, if it's wholesaling,
you're in a smaller,
if it's flipping, if it's rental.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's our price range. Profit per deal, I think we average probably 15 to 20K per deal.
In the southern region.
In the southern region. In Boston, the spreads are a lot bigger. We close the
50,000 and up.
Yeah, we closed a $105,000 deal in Boston. We also closed a $90,000 wholesale deal in Charlotte. So, I mean, in the South, you can have some pretty big spreads. And again, both of those are found through DealMachine. The beautiful thing is there's been times where a homeowner has called us and we've been the only one they're talking to. And that's when you can get huge spreads. When they're not talking to 10 other investors, it's rare. But when you're the only one they're talking to, the only one they're dealing with, your spreads can get really large.
How many properties did it take to get a deal? What do you mean? How many properties did it take?
Well, I think he means like how many properties do you have in your system that you're mailing to versus how many deals have you gotten from that?
It take, probably similar to your stats.
I would say before our very first deal that we closed with DealMachine, we had a little over 100 properties in, but it just so happened that like when the phone started blowing up, we literally got 4 deals in 1 week. Back to back to back to back to back. So it literally, what I did was, in the very beginning, I put all of the mailers on 12-month mailers. And then I kept track of how, when the person called in and how many mailers went out. And what I was seeing consistently across the board was, it was really taking up to 3 postcards. So out of 150, I think it was when I first started tracking them, it was like 150 postcards or 150 calls, my very first 150 calls.
Yep.
Three of them went to 12. So it was about 12 mailers that it took for them to call us back. And about 88 of them were 3 mailers. So I was noticing that with the properties we were entering, it was really only taking 3 mailers for people to call back. A majority of them, probably about 100% of them, just liked the postcard. They were getting postcards from everyone else. They just liked the actual picture.
They would actually say that.
That's what they would say.
I've experienced that too. And every once in a while, somebody says, "Why'd you take a picture of my house?" But most of the time it's like, "Hey, I called you because it looked like you put a lot of time into this."
Yep.
Yeah, we've had people call us and say, "It looks like you spent a lot of money on these postcards. I'm not interested in selling, but I thought I'd just tell you so you don't keep sending me these."
Yeah, because
wasting
it
money.
looks like you put so much money into them.
We appreciate that.
Yep.
How do we find our bird dogs, our deal finders?
Well, a lot of them approach us through social media, just because of our presence. But in the beginning, how I found them was I reached out to family members. So I have my mom, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins. I had friends of ours who were driving. And what I did was when we were on the, what's the beginner package?
The basic plan?
The basic plan, where you get 3. It was me, my mom.
You got 3 back then. I think they can change it.
Yeah, we got 3 back then. It's still 3, right?
You get 1 deal finder with the basic plan, and then the professional gives you 2 full access people with 2 additional deal finders.
Okay, so on the basic, it was me. How many back then did it have?
3.
Back then,
Yes, 3. So it was me, my mom, and then what I did was I rotated out that 3rd person. So if I didn't see you uploading deals,
you were cut.
You didn't keep it, including him. So he was that 3rd person.
Oh, you cut me from the
Remember
list?
I cut you? Yes, I did cut you.
She said you're fired. You're not
he went in one day to try and put a property in, and he was like, "Babe, it's not working." I said, "I know. You done fell off.
Why is my access revoked?"
I had to give your spot up to somebody else. So what I did was I made sure that the people that I had under me was uploading every single week. So then it showed me the consistency before I went to the business plan. And I remember I was like always emailing customer service. Like they were probably getting tired of me because I was like, "Hey, you can't do a la carte for like deal finders." I remember Dave responded back to me once. He was like, "No, not yet. But, I said, well, what's that next plan about? Tell me what that next plan is." And Dave had responded back to me. And he was like, "Hey, well, just if you're interested, we typically don't advise people to go to that plan unless you have so many people working in your company or something like that. I said, listen, send me the information on the enterprise plan. So he sent me the information. He sent me to Dave. I think it was Dave who ended up giving me a call, and I talked to him. But what I did was I made sure I built up a list of really active deal finders before I moved up. And so when I was able to move up, I had already built out my deal finder program just based off of using family and friends. So I was rocking and rolling by the time I got to enterprise.
That's awesome. Sorry, Dedric, you got kicked out. But now he's back in on the enterprise plan.
Yes.
Right. Listen, money is money. You know, you got to be you got to be making money, or your spot goes somewhere else.
What, let's see. Do we answer all of Paul Morgan's questions? What's a qualified lead?
It really depends on your buying criteria. So for us, it's different for each market we're in. In the, say in our North Carolina market, a qualified lead for us is anything that was not purchased within the last 10 years. Anything that's at the time in the beginning, nothing that was corporate owned, nothing that was owned by an LLC. The reason why we didn't start with those is because we were on a budget. And I tell people, if you're starting out and you're on a budget, you really want to use your money on really approving deals that have really high motivating factors. So not doing like LLCs, corporate owned, things of that nature, because your budget is tighter than. So we did mail to trust.
Yeah.
Because we probably closed in probably about 50 deals on just trust alone. But what I learned early on, because I was already in real estate before we got into real estate, my corporate job, I was in real estate. So I knew a lot of times that trust can just be owned by a parent or someone who has who's passed away, and the kids put the property in a trust. So I do tell people to always mail to trust. Boston is different as well. It really just depends on what your buying criteria is what a qualified lead is going to be.
Gotcha. Well, that's helpful. I know everybody's got their own market that's going to have different criteria. Right. I think the one thing that I always see, people do focus on the absentee owners, but I've done a bunch of deals that are owner occupied.
Absolutely.
And I always want to encourage people, don't hesitate putting in owner occupied homes if they're distressed.
Right. Absolutely. Again, one of our biggest deals, it was a $90,000 wholesale deal in Charlotte. It was owner occupied. And you may ask, why would this person living in a property want to sell? When she called us, she said, hey, listen, I'm older. I'm in my 60s. This house needs a lot of work. I don't have any desire to fix it up. I just want to sell it. There's no mortgage. I inherited it. I just want to sell it and downsize and move into a condo. So we gave her asking price, and then we ended up selling it and making a $90,000 wholesale fee on that deal.
Awesome. I believe it was owner occupied. Scrolling through here. Let's see. So you guys are in 2 markets. All right. Are you in more than 2 markets?
We're in multiple markets.
Yeah.
We got deals in California, New Hampshire.
Wholesale in probably about 30 different states.
Massachusetts. We do a lot of JV deals as well.
We buy and hold in 4 markets, 3 or 4 markets.
Okay.
But we'll wholesale in any market.
Well, so Roger Jones, he says, what's a good hot market to do virtual deals? So maybe you could talk about the process of like, should somebody do it in their own market, or should they go ahead and try to do it virtually?
So it depends where you live. Where do you live, Roger? What is your market? Here's my philosophy. I don't care where the deal is. It could be in Honolulu, Hawaii. It could be in Alaska. If you can get it for the right price, a good wholesale price, you can find a buyer for it, right? It's all about getting it at the right price. It shouldn't matter. Again, we've done deals in California, New Hampshire, all over the country. It's all about finding a motivated seller and getting that deal at the right price.
Mhm.
And one of the things with DealMachine, it actually allowed us to go virtual from the very beginning because Boston, we're from Boston. We were raised there our whole life. So we knew that market, but we didn't live there.
Live 1,000 miles away.
And that was one of the things that we debated on when we first got into real estate. He was like, oh, I think we should stay local. I said, no, I think we need to be in Boston market because we've been there forever. And he was like, no, but everyone says start local. And I said, that is our backyard because we lived there forever. I said, so that's where we're starting.
Both, North
so
Carolina
we did
and
both.
Boston.
And DealMachine allowed us to do that virtually. And I tell people, as long as you have boots on the ground, whether it's family, friends, or you hire someone just to go take pictures for you, you can do virtual marketing. You can do it effectively. Like all of our virtual marketing was done through DealMachine. Like all of it was done through DealMachine.
People think we're in that market. Someone will call us from Philadelphia. Hey, I got your postcard. And we use a Philadelphia number, a Pennsylvania number in there. Yeah, we'll play along. Yep. Yeah, we were driving by there the other day. We noticed it. You know, tell us about the property. And just talk to them like we're right there.
And my return address was in any market. We used a vacant property. So I would find a vacant property in that city or that state.
That's the return address.
And that would be our return address.
You don't need to get an office there.
Right.
So was it your property or just any property?
No, any property.
Vacant property.
Any vacant property.
All right. Interesting. Haven't heard that trick before.
And then the question is, okay, how do you see the property, right? How do you get pictures? How do you set the appointment? So what we would do is say it's in Boston, we're in North Carolina. We would say, okay, great. When can we see the property? They would tell us when. And again, as she said, it's important to have boots on the ground. So once we got off the phone, we would call our boots on the ground. Hey, Rob, I got a property in Dorchester. I need somebody to go look at it. You know, do you mind taking a look? I'll pay you $100. If you can go just take pictures. I don't need you to say anything. Just say, hey, I'm Dedric's partner and Krystal's partner. I'm just here to take pictures.
Yep.
Go, they take pictures, email me through Google Drive or Dropbox, send me the pictures. Once I see the pictures, I've walked and inspected enough properties. I know what the estimated repairs are going to cost.
Yeah.
So that comes with experience, but it can definitely be done virtually.
Yeah. Even if you don't have family or friends in that market, you can hire someone. Go on Craigslist. Go to BPO Photo Flow. All they do is take photos. BPOphotoflow.com. Or go on Craigslist. Put an ad up. Say, hey, I need someone to take pictures for me. $50.
Yep.
So I mean, there's a million people who'll do that.
Let me just tell you guys, I got one of my students, one of my JV partners on this call. So I met this guy about 2 weeks ago. He's been following me on social media, and it turns out he got a property under contract in Charlotte. So, we're working on. He reached out to me like, "Hey, I got a deal in Charlotte. Are you interested in buying it?" So we were chatting on that, and he got under contract, and I was like, have you gone to see it? And he was like, no, I haven't seen it, but I have pictures. I have some pictures. I was like, okay. And he was like, I was like, where are you located? He was like, I'm in Trinidad.
Oh, man.
I said, Trinidad. I said, oh, so you mean like the island Trinidad? He was like, yeah. I'm like, okay. Do you live in Charlotte or do you go back and forth? And he was like, no, I've never even been to the States. He was like, I just watched you guys' videos. I watched Max. I got DealMachine. He found it actually through Facebook Marketplace and just cold called him. But literally, he got a property under contract in Charlotte virtually, sight unseen. He's never even been to the United States in his life.
Right.
But that shows you the determination. If there's a will, there's a way. If you really want to do something, you're not going to let anything get in your way. So shout out to Garvin. He's on the call.
All right. Shout out to you, Garvin. Hannah, can you bring on somebody named Lee? Make sure Hannah's got access. You guys are cool bringing a couple people on to ask some questions, right?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's see. There we go. Well, if you guys do a property in a state that you've never done a deal before, what do you do to find a buyer? Like post it in like one of the local buy-sell Facebook groups?
So I actually just made a YouTube video about this. I released it this week. So if you go to Be Polite YouTube channel, but few different steps you want to do. So before you have a buyer's list, there's things like, the Facebook groups. your city real estate investors. So if you're in Charlotte, type in Charlotte real estate investor groups on Facebook.
Okay.
One for Charlotte, there's like 6,000 people in that group.
Gotcha.
Indianapolis, every major city has a Facebook group for real estate investors.
Yep.
Of course, there's Craigslist. You got to be careful sometimes with Craigslist, but we found one of our biggest cash buyers through Craigslist. So those are the places you can look before you've built up an established buyers list.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Hey, Lily, I think you're muted.
Hey, Lily.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi.
Hey.
Hold on.
I see you have a mask on. Are you actually working in a hospital?
There's too many people on this
Yeah,
call. I
I
got my
do.
mask on.
I'm actually on my break, so.
Okay.
Wow.
Hi.
Well,
Thanks
salute
for
to
joining
you.
us.
Appreciate you working on the front
Hey.
lines.
Well, I saw you commented that you just got your first deal, so I wanted to just have you tell us, not your first deal, but your first lead, you said. So I wanted you to tell us like what happened, and then is there any help that we can do to maybe help you close that?
Yeah, so I started driving for dollars when I watched some of Maxwell's videos.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just really trying to find my niche as far as cold calling, direct mail, virtual wholesaling.
Yep.
And so I got into driving to dollars when I really just went out there and just started, because I started having, I think they call it paralysis, like research or something.
Analysis paralysis.
Yes. I was in that state. So I was like, I'm gonna just get up and go. And so Maxwell was talking about DealMachine. So I downloaded the app on my phone and I just went and started out there. And then I live in Lansing, Michigan. So there's a lot of distressed houses where I live. And so I literally just started taking pictures and sending off the mailers. And then I sent like 150 mailers. And so after I did that, a week later, I started getting calls.
There you go.
Oh my God, like this.
Ringing.
And I was so nervous because, everyone talks about cold calling. So in my head, I'm like, okay, this is the only way to do it was cold call. And, I wasn't really getting anywhere with that. So I said, let me just drive for dollars with DealMachine. And it just started.
Awesome.
Kind of like us. So when we first started, everyone was talking about cold calling. So that's kind of how we got into cold calling.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we found out about DealMachine and saw that direct mail actually does work.
Yes.
And you don't have to send 20,000.
Right.
You have to. Now you can't just send 10 or 20. Right, a lot of people contact us and they're like, "Hey, I sent 20 postcards and I haven't gotten."
And they're ready to give up. Yep.
You got to send more. I mean, you send 150, but that's just a start. You got to send 150 every 2 weeks, and then keep growing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's still a numbers game at the end of the day.
It is, and that's when I started to realize, okay, if I do this every 2 or 3 days, because I live by myself, so I don't have no children or anything. So I work in the afternoon, so I get up like 7 in the morning when the sun come out, and I start driving for dollars.
That's how you do it. You got to get obsessed with it.
So, so now what I would say for you to do is you're on the individual, the basic plan.
Yes.
You need to add phone a friend or phone a family member. What I tell people, if even on the basic plan, the worst thing you can do is let those 2 additional people that you can have, those 2 extra slots, that's like free money, go to waste and just sit there.
Okay.
There's one right on the basic plan.
How many you get?
It's 1.
1 now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, a day. Get one person to get out there and drive while you're not driving.
While you're working.
Okay.
While you're working, somebody can still be uploading properties. So that one additional person that they give you, use that. Like,
now, if that person's not producing after a few days,
you ain't got to say nothing. Just find somebody else. Always be looking for someone else, to be honest with you, because I didn't tell him when he was bumped.
Every day, if they didn't upload and meet the quota, you got to put another deal finder because you only got 1 slot.
Right.
So they got to be producing.
Right.
Trust me, I kept switching them out. My uncle, listen, I love him. Well, he got sick. He fell sick. You know what I'm saying? He fell sick. I had to turn that spot over.
Right.
I, give him the boot too. I said, look, when you get back on your health, and they're all retired, so they were perfect. I said, look, when your health get right, you got a space with me. But right now, I only had like 2 slots, so I had to make them work for us. But find somebody else to be driving for you while you're at work.
Okay, I definitely will do that because I'm more serious about it than I was now. So.
And what do you say to that person to get them excited about driving?
Hey, listen, I'm in real estate heavy right now, and I'm really looking to expand. I would love, and that's why I say start with friends and family, because they will understand you trying to build out something more than a stranger.
Okay.
And they're going to be more welcoming to help you build something out from the beginning than a stranger.
And they'll get paid.
So you let them know, hey, listen, right now I'm working on closing a deal, but what I'm doing is any deal that I close that you have uploaded, I'm giving you whatever percentage you say. I'm giving you 10%, 5%, whatever it is. You decide. I'm giving you 10% of every deal.
Once I get paid.
I get paid after tax.
Okay. Definitely will.
Lily, we need to send you a hat, a Deal Machine hat. We just need to make sure that we get your contact info. So once you get off of here, I'll have Elise message you on Zoom. All right, so we can get that.
Okay. Thank you guys so much.
You're welcome, Lily.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 And we're coughing, Taylor, because I actually just got over pneumonia. So I'm actually just out the hospital for a week ago.
I'm glad you're over it. You scared me whenever Dedric said you were in the hospital.
Yeah,
I was really scared. It was about a month ago, I thought, or it was a little while, like right when the whole chaotic outbreak was happening.
At the height of it. And
yeah.
I'm thinking that's probably what I had, and it turned out to be pneumonia.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, I'm so glad you didn't have the virus that shall not be named.
Right. We're not even going to mention it.
Tell me about it.
All right. So the next person I want to bring on is Nicole Green. And I see that Nicole is starting to get her video started. Okay.
Nicole haven't.
There we go.
You're muted.
Hi, Nicole.
I heard you. How you doing? Oh, I heard you for a second. Something happened. I think you're
unmuted. Now you're back muted.
Okay.
There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
How are you doing today?
I am great. How are you guys?
Doing awesome.
How you doing?
Doing good.
I saw you asked a mindset question. Yeah.
Yes. How did you change your mindset and knowing that you can actually be successful in the business?
Well, when we first started, my husband had like analysis paralysis.
I was like Mr. Analysis Paralysis.
Yes, the poster child for it.
For years, I wanted to invest in real estate, and I would always talk myself out of it until I met this one.
Right.
She was just like
total opposite. I don't play them games.
We're doing it. You can't have that.
Yeah. So it was more so. I'm wired differently than my husband, so I'm more so of the. What would you say? I'm
the crazy one.
Yeah, like I'm gonna jump. So like when he brought, we were 2 months in dating, and he brought Airbnb to us, and he was like,
"She's a risk taker. She's more of a risk taker. I'm more conservative.
Very conservative." And my mindset is, we can jump and grow wings on the way down.
And my mindset is let's calculate the risk
reward
of this. But it's important to have that in a business because we balance each other out.
Absolutely. So your mindset is going to come in when you understand your why, and why you're wanting to do this. What's at the end of that tunnel for you? What's at the end of the light for you? And for us, it was our kids, and then it was our kids' kids. And that's literally why we go as hard as we do. That's why, you know, our moves are calculated. You know, where a lot of people get into it to wholesale, you know, as soon as we got into it, our mindset is buy and hold. So a lot of people wholesale. We wholesale only to buy and hold. That's it. And that's just because our why is different than someone who don't have kids. So our why dictates every move we make, including our mindset. So we don't really have the luxury of thinking, well, what if it doesn't go right? And what if fuck it, if it don't go right, we'll move on to something else. And I tell my husband that every day. Listen, if this don't work, we'll go to something else. Before we got into real estate, we owned a franchise of animal rides. And those are the electric scooters that people ride around the mall. So we own 3 locations in 2 different states.
While we have full-time jobs.
While full-time jobs. And when my husband saw that business too, he was like, no, that don't even look like it make money. So I said, okay, I'll be back. I came back with I found another guy who had a business and came back with his numbers. And he changed his mindset once he saw the numbers. So you just got to understand what your why is. Okay.
One more question. Have you always had that inside of you? Do you think you were born with that?
I was born with it. Absolutely.
Now me, it's the opposite. She was born with it. I had to develop my mindset.
Right.
So a lot of it goes into how do you get that winner, that success mindset? A lot of it goes to the people you hang with, so who you associate with. So think about your friends and family or your favorite 5. If you look at your cell phone, look at the 5 people you talk to the most. When you really break it down, that's who you're most alike. So your finances are going to look like theirs, your relationships, your health, the people you spend the most time with. So before I knew this, I would hang around people and just not really consider what their habits was, what their results were. But again, you gravitate to being like the people you spend the most time with. So once I became aware of it, we started intentionally hanging around people that were on a higher level, right? If we want to elevate and raise ourselves, we got to get around people who are doing things, whether it's business, relationships, life, health, and wellness on a higher level. And that's how they think is going to rub off on you, right? You hang around someone, you ever notice that you start talking like them, you start using their slang, you start adopting some of their beliefs. It's a law of the universe.
Yeah.
So that's what really helped us. One of the major things that helped us change our mindset is our association and our friends, who we hung around with. Is very important. So go ahead, Dave.
Whenever I was getting into it, my mom was so worried because she talked to all her friends that had really terrible rental property experiences. And I was like, well, I understand that, but I'm talking to people who were successful. You know,
right.
She was just talking to people who had like a one-off rental property that she knew from church, you know, that had a terrible, I think she had talked to like 2 separate people that had both like had a property, had a terrible experience and got rid of it. And, you know, I understood her concerns. Like I wanted to hear that because that's reality and can happen. But also like, you got to make sure you're talking to the people who are successful if you're trying to see how they got successful.
Absolutely.
Right. Your mom was just trying to protect you, right?
100%.
My mom tried to talk me out of this 100 times. But once it started working, she was like, I knew you can do it. And I love my mom that, but she's just trying to protect me. But when you talk to someone who owns 1,000 doors, their mindset's totally different. They're like, I'm trying to get to 10,000. How many rentals can I get? And it's the mindset.
And when I met him, it was, I'd already had the mindset of, because I started business a lot earlier than he did. When I met him, and I looked at who he was around, and he was coming from a private school background, an elite private school from middle school all the way through college. And his friends were not bad. They were all highly successful, educated, but they were all comfortable. So they were all comfortable in these corporate jobs. Never seeing them. I mean, like super comfortable, not rocking the boat. they would all get together every year and go on this friends trip together. And I remember the first year I came, and I'm looking at all of them lawyers, bankers, literally
Very successful.
all highly successful, and I'm looking at them like.
But no one was risk takers. Everybody kind of followed the mode. Go to school, get good grades, get a good job with benefits, work 40 years, retire, and get a gold watch.
And
that world doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
So now my friends see the success we've had, and they're like, man, I want to get into real estate.
And that's because I made them cut them off. That's what the hell I did. I said, yeah, they got to go.
And I'm still friends with them now, but
I
just don't spend as much time.
I just said, listen, you can't hang with
that
them.
mindset rubs off on you. The people you talk to the most, spend the most time with.
Mm-hmm. And they went from not caring to, hey, D, texted him, hey, yo, can we schedule some time to kick it?
Hey, well, I appreciate you guys taking the time.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thanks for joining us, Nicole.
Thank you.
Let's see here. Darius Landrum wants to know, do you expect an increase in the available inventory, and how is the wholesale market going to be affected? I saw you actually posted a video about this.
Yeah,
maybe it was an Instagram post.
Yeah, I recently posted a few things about this. I expect an increase in inventory in the coming months. As you know, we're in a pandemic, of course. Everybody knows that. A lot of people say we're already in a recession because the economy has been shut down almost 2 months, and we don't know when it's going to reopen. So what that means is that, the government is almost living check to check, right? So a lot of stuff is still to come. I don't think we've seen the worst as far as this pandemic and also the financial impact of it. So there's going to be a lot more properties hitting the market. So I would say be patient. Wholesaling, I think, is going to become less prevalent. Wholesaling will always be around. Again, we love wholesaling. But I think as the market shifts, as there's more inventory, so the value of a wholesaler is that people who fix and flip houses and landlords, a lot of them don't know how to find off-market deals. That's where the wholesaler comes in, right? You're an expert at marketing and finding these motivated sellers. That's why they pay us these huge fees to find them deals that otherwise they would never have access to. You're not going to find those deals on the MLS. It's been an up market for the past 10 years. So wholesaling has been, really rocking for the past 3 or 4 years. I think now with all, you're going to see more foreclosures. People can't pay their bills. They can't pay their mortgage. They can't pay their rent. You're going to see more inventory on the market. So there's going to be less of a need for wholesalers. So that's why, we're kind of shifting our business to utilize other exit strategies or other acquisition strategies, right? Forget exit. How do we buy more properties through creative financing, right? How do we take a property subject to the existing mortgage where it may not be a lot of equity, but if we get it under contract, we get the deed, we can rent it out for a higher spread, right? We take over the mortgage payment where it's $800 a month, but we can rent it out for $1,400 a month and make that, right? How do we get deals where we purchase it seller financing?
Right.
Where instead of coming up with $100,000 cash, we give them a few $1,000s down and make payments over time. And then we turn around and rent that property, rent to own, or sell it owner financing, where we get a $10,000 down payment from our buyer and we get a larger spread on a rental. So those are some of the things we're doing differently, in the current environment, given everything that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that we had switched, so with the whole, with the epidemic that's going on now, is we included a seller finance postcard that's going out right now.
Really?
So, yep.
Would you guys be interested and able to share what that looks like?
Yeah, I'll send it.
Develop?
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Cool.
Verbiage on it, but that's because we're trying to target now more seller finance.
Okay, cool.
Individuals, and we kind of know, because we already have properties through seller finance, we kind of know the demographic of people target. So that's one of the ways that we switch. We do a ton of, everything, of course, is now virtual. We also have switched our deal finders to doing it virtually as well.
Okay.
which is help them at least continue to keep their volume up. So guys, definitely look into that. It hasn't really slowed us down any, because we were always doing virtual with DealMachine.
You want the school? Because it's going to be in the back.
So now it's just getting deal finders on board.
Ray, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Ray.
Really good. Do you have any video?
I'm trying to figure out how do you get the video from my camera.
Yeah. If you can't figure it out, that's okay.
It's a start. Okay, hold on a minute. I wanted to, because I got it off of unmute here. Yeah, I'm so excited to be on here with you all. I follow DealMachine's live streams every day with Elise. It's been very helpful. And as you can see, I'm not technologically savvy because I can't even get my video up.
That's all right.
But my wife is here with me, and our story is almost similar to you all's, whereas she's the one that's more like pushing me, even though I'm a licensed real estate broker, have been for 10 years.
Yeah.
I kind of deprogrammed myself from real estate because when it comes to contracts and stuff like that, I just couldn't see how the assignment and all of that stuff would come into play. So that was my question for you all. With the $90,000 and the $105,000 deal, how did you all get that deal without? Did you do a double closing, or was it an assignment? Because otherwise, if they see you making $90,000 and $105,000, you know, how did they do that?
Ray, that's a great question. So we absolutely did double closes. So
Okay.
Those who don't know, a double close is when you do, so we're buying a property from a seller and we're going to make $90,000. And we don't want our cash buyer or the seller to see that we're making this huge profit on flipping the property. As soon as we close on it, we're selling it to someone else. So you don't do that as an assignment. We recommend doing that as a double close. So no one gets upset and no one's the wiser for it until you close on the property. So basically what we did is we got the property under contract for $125,000. We found a cash buyer that was willing to pay $215,000. So there's a $90,000 difference that we would make for flipping it to that cash buyer. We didn't have $125,000 cash to close on it. So we found what's called a transactional lender. So someone who had the cash, they would lend it to us for a fee for 1 hour, right? We're going to close on this property for $125,000 at 11 a.m. And then we're going to turn around at 12 p.m. at 12 noon and sell it for $215,000. And that transactional lender is going to give us the $125,000 to close on it. They're going to charge us like $1,500 or 1%, $1,250 to use the money for 1 hour. And then we go ahead and sell it to the end buyer and we make the difference in between. So that's what we do on large spreads like that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
And you mentioned being a realtor. We love working with real estate agents, but there is kind of like some unlearning you have to do, right? Because you're a traditional realtor, you're used to listing properties and your contract is a certain way, it's a standard form. But as an investor, there's a totally different mindset and hat that you have to put on. But some of the top investors are realtors, right? But it's a few things you have to unlearn.
For sure. Guys, I know you've got kids, so I know it's 8 o'clock now. If you need to go, sign off at any time and we will all be understanding.
No, we're good. Can we bring on Natasha Turner?
Please. And guys, I wanted to let you know that the Polites actually have a course describing exactly how they drive for dollars. Elise has posted it in here a couple of times because I saw some people asking. But if you guys didn't know about it, go scroll through the comments and check out a few of those times that Elise posted the link.
I'm on, but I'd prefer not to show my face because I look super nappy. I wasn't planning to be on camera.
Hey, it's okay.
Look, that's all right. We all struggling right now. We all struggling. It's okay. We natural right now.
Yeah.
So I saw your question in here. Could you just elaborate a little bit more on what issues you're having with your DealMachine right now?
Yeah. So I've been using DealMachine since the beginning, which was about October last year. And I've pinned hundreds of properties, and I remember David saying that, usually by the time you get about 200 in there, you'll have one closed. But I haven't closed any out of DealMachine yet, and so I'm wondering, are my requirements that I'm using to pin properties too relaxed? Like, do they need to be super distressed, or is it more likely a problem that I'm only cold calling them and not sending postcards, or where should I be looking for my mistakes?
Are you sending postcards? One.
No, because I didn't have a ton of money, so I was only cold calling.
Okay. So you're in Kentucky?
Yeah.
Kentucky. Okay. So what I would suggest is, what are you adding into DealMachine?
Okay.
Well, right now I've been looking for anything like, even if they have nappy looking shutters or cars parked on the grass or some shingles that look weird or pieces of siding falling off, but I haven't. The really, really bad properties that I could get are right downtown, and there's not a lot of buyers that like to buy in that area, so I haven't done too many of those ones. And it's a bad area of town where they said I shouldn't go alone as a female, like drugs and prostitution and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I stayed away.
Well, good thing is you ain't got to, with the app. What I would suggest you do is, first thing is you got to mail. But
Okay.
you need to get a little bit more strict on the properties that you're into.
Okay.
So what I would suggest you do is right now focus on absentee owner, right? Absentee owner, and that's flagged in the app.
Okay.
It is like gold to me right now. Like, you have no idea.
They literally highlight it.
It's highlighted. What is it? Green?
Yep.
Okay.
That is like gold to me. You have no idea. Highlighted absentee owner. Add absentee owner properties, nothing purchased within the last 10 years, and vacant properties. And the reason why I'm going to tell you this is a lot of tired landlords don't know they're tired until they get your postcard.
Okay.
So I always tell people, it doesn't even have to be a beat up absentee owner. If it's absentee and it wasn't purchased in the last 10 years, I mail to it.
Oh, okay.
Period. So look for vacant and distress, yes, but add absentee owners.
So those are your tired landlords.
Those are your
Potentially
tired landlords.
Okay.
A lot of landlords aren't getting rent, right? April, the newspapers say only two-thirds of our tenants paid their rent in April. So that means 1/3 of landlords didn't get rent.
Absolutely.
And May is probably going to be worse. So now's the time to start sending these mail to these landlords. They may be like, no, I haven't gotten rent in 2 months. I'm ready to get rid of this property. I need cash.
That area that you said, hey, look, it's a dangerous area. If people are buying in there, then you don't have to go. Go right on your app.
Yes.
Find the street. Just find a street near it.
Yeah.
And then start driving for dollars
Virtually
in your living room, in your drawers, girl. And you ain't ever got to step foot in that neighborhood.
Okay.
And make sure you get that street pic feature. Upload the photo of the property. Those are the two I tell people are best investments when dealing with DealMachine, even on a budget. They already now have absentee owners. And this kind of made me lazy because we'll be out driving for dollars. We want to be driving, but we'll be driving to somewhere. And of course, I'm driving for dollars. So as soon as I see a bunch of absentee owner properties, I just start pinging them.
She pins them. She doesn't even look up from the phone now. I'm like, did you see that house? That's vacant. That's vacant. She's like, yep, got it.
And I automatically,
like, you're not even looking at the house.
upload the picture. I don't even need to see them no more. And I upload the picture. It's like the best thing, to the point where you can get a little. I can be in front of the house now, and a lot of times I still won't get the picture. I'll just be like, nope. I uploaded from Street Pic. It don't matter.
So does that green highlight work on the basic plan too, or only on the upgrade?
Yeah, it works on all plans.
Okay. I don't know why I haven't noticed that.
What? You need to log back in. Anybody who don't see.
It's not on by default. So in order to turn it on, you click the map icon button.
That's right.
Oh.
And then you can select your property criteria that you want highlighted.
Oh,
Make
okay.
sure everybody
Yeah.
on this call should have that feature turned on. Dave, do you have a video on that on the YouTube channel or something? Or,
I can just share my screen and show you real quick if you want.
Awesome.
yeah, that's critical. That's a key to success right there.
Maybe we'll do a video this week because I don't do anything but use that feature right now.
Oh, okay.
Can you guys see this?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
So to turn it on, you click the map button on the top right, highlight properties, and then let's just say absentee owner that was sold over 2 years ago.
What?
And now you can see which ones they are.
My word.
They're green. That's
My
green
mind
for
is
dollars.
blown right now. I can't believe I haven't known about this.
And literally, you could tap them to pin them. Like,
Yep,
you don't have to
That's
go.
it.
Oh my word.
So literally, that's why I say you don't even have to leave, girl.
Wow.
The living room.
But you do have to start sending postcards.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You have to start sending postcards. You won't even realize. See that trust property? I would mail to that.
Okay.
But you got to start actually mailing to them. Like I said, we started with cold calling as well. We literally did not see. And one of the things you got to understand too is cold calling may not work in that market.
Okay.
And that's something that we found out, like text messaging didn't really work in some of our markets. Ringless voicemail may not work in every market.
Okay.
So I tell people there's a reason why the biggest real estate investors still do direct mail.
Yeah.
We found out because it actually works. Like we would think like, oh, we ain't got that $100,000 budget like them.
You tried to resist it.
Yeah.
And we tried for a year not to do it because we were like, yo, we don't have that money. We don't know how to do it.
Well, we started with like $200 a month.
That's what we started with
$200 a
DealMachine.
month.
Literally, we put aside $200 a month, and we allotted that for mailers.
Okay. And is it okay to use the default postcard or do I have to customize it?
You need to start customizing, boo. First off, don't use the default. DealMachine got way too many good postcards in their system now. If I was you, start off with the block.
The block
template.
Okay.
You get the most letters, characters under that one as well. But that's literally my favorite, and I've tried all of them.
There goes Dave showing it. Number 6.
Okay.
That one gives us the highest response rate.
Okay. Thank you so much, guys.
Get away from the basic, the beginning template. What's that called?
Classic.
Classic. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I really appreciate you taking the time to answer me. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
David, your team.
Oh, all right. I wanted to show everyone on the call how to virtually drive for dollars in Street View as well. We've got the new update to the extension. So you just kind of cruise around.
Dedric loves this.
And right here, I can tell this is the house I'm looking at in Street View. And it's absentee owner. I can see that too, owned by Ronald Howard. So I just click it to add it. Now that it's added to my recently added list. So I can start mailers and I can also skip trace this guy. Let's see what happens. So I like this one because it's got a window air conditioning unit. So that means it hasn't had any updates done to it. So I got his work phone right here. So that's just an example of how you can cruise the Google Street View with this Chrome extension right here.
There you go. There's no excuses, guys. You can do this from your living room, from anywhere.
Yeah, and this works on all the plans. There's no additional charge for that. You can get it by going to dealmachine.com/Chrome if you guys want to download that.
That's awesome.
Let's see what other questions we got. Ray, how you doing? Are you back?
You got the video working.
Ray popped in like, how the hell I get here? Ray looked like, how the hell I get on here?
Well, Ray, did you have any more questions? Oh, there he goes. Hi, Ray.
Everyone's saying I was today years old when they found out about this new feature. Paying money and didn't know.
I thought that it was funny. A lot of people really liked when you said that you guys were evenly yoked. That really hit everybody. I saw a few comments about that.
Absolutely. Find that out earlier. Seller 10 houses sell, but he's not willing to budge on his price. How do I negotiate? So someone said, I took a picture of a house with the deal machine and the seller had 10 houses to sell, but he's not willing to budge on his price. How do I negotiate?
So here's the deal. My specialty is sales and acquisitions. There's really nothing magical you can say to make somebody motivated, right? They're either going to be motivated by some external factor. Maybe they just lost their job. Maybe they got to move across country. Something has to be motivating them, right? So there's nothing magical you're going to say. You need more leads. So again, I used to bang my head against the wall when I had a lead. I'm like, man, the house is worth $100,000. They want $105,000. They won't come down. Why? What do I need to say? There's nothing I was going to say that was going to change their mind. They weren't motivated. They wanted retail or more than retail. I got to find other people to talk to who are actually motivated. The next phone call, well, they just inherited the property and they live out of state and they don't want it. They want to sell it. That's a motivated seller. And you'll know when you talk to a motivated seller.
And what I would also say, Kimberly, is make sure you put him in a follow-up campaign. But because he's not motivated right now, don't mean he won't be motivated later.
Absolutely.
One of the things that you may want to do that Dedric always does is he puts them in a follow-up campaign to the point where they get used to hearing from him every month. Hey, Mr. Johnson, just checking in on you, seeing how you're doing, seeing how everything's going on, become their friend at this point. Mm-hmm. And don't worry so much about buying a house. Start
on the first call.
Absolutely.
You're not going to get it on the first call.
Add value at this point.
100%.
So just to add to that, what she was saying, fortune is in the follow-up. So 98% of the deals that you close are going to be after 10, 15, 20 follow-ups. The problem is that most people give up after 1 or 2 calls. Oh, I spoke to him twice and he's not motivated. He doesn't want to sell. He wants retail. Well, you got to keep following. Like she said, I had people I would call every 30 days like clockwork, and they would expect my phone call. Hey, I know we spoke last month, but just wanted to check in, see if anything's changed. You know, if you change your mind about selling that property or if you're willing to come down a little bit on the price. Nope. All right, I'll call them next month. After 6 months, they're like, oh, you didn't call me on Wednesday like I normally do. You called me on Thursday this month. You know, you build that relationship with them.
100%.
Somebody said, this is for you, Dave. When you use the Chrome extension and send a card, does the picture attach? Or do you need to add the street pick feature? Oh.
Great question. Here, let me show that one more time. I saw somebody was asking. So here we go. All right, so see a house that looks run down, pop open the extension. It's going to show you the nearby houses. So you pick it out. So it's this one. So there it is added. Just because it shows you the pictures over here, it doesn't add the picture in your DealMachine account. So if you have the Street Pick add-on, it will add it for you. And so that's what you need to have.
And guys, this one of the things I love about DealMachine is that they just sneak in new updates. Like you don't even know that they added this, but they're constantly adding features and functionality to make the app better. So literally, you got to check like every week, like what did they add that's new to stay on top of this. But it keeps getting better.
Thanks for saying that. We work hard. We've got a team of 14 people now, so it's like
oh wow, y'all are growing
every day.
Let me get that application, Dave.
Hey, we are going to start hiring once this coronavirus is over.
Somebody said, how do we get the add-on?
Okay, let me show you. All right, so if you go to, I think this will work.
I think a lot of people have older versions of DealMachine. So what I had to do a couple of weeks ago is I actually had to delete the app off my phone and I had to re-download it for some of the new updates to go through. and that, I found that helped as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, if you want to see what add-ons are available, you just go into the settings, hit account, manage products, and then there's different add-ons. And Street Pick is the one we've been talking about.
Which is amazing. That's the one I was like freaking, I'm telling you guys.
We used to have to go to Google Maps and this is back in the old days in 2018, and take a picture of our computer screen or our phone and screenshot it and put the picture on to virtually drive for dollars.
Now I fly with these.
You're the people why we made these features, the virtual driving feature and also the Street Pick.
When I tell you I go ham with these features, guys, like you have no idea. Now it's the best thing ever.
I think one thing also worth showing is if you guys have something that you want, we have a feature request page.
Yep.
So the most recent thing that we did was bulk data uploads. So I can show you that in a second.
Bulk upload.
But this had the top votes. So that's the feature that we tackled most recently. We just been highlighting the virtual driving because of the lockdown and everything that we've had. But if you guys want to bulk upload something, you can go into the settings, and right here where your export features are, there's an upload list option. And so you just click on upload list, and then trying to find a spreadsheet of addresses that I might have lying around. Okay, this looks like a mystery spreadsheet called Lot of Deals. Okay, so the first thing is it's 521 properties, it looks like. And boy, I don't think it's got any addresses in it. So this may not be a spreadsheet of properties. Let me find one.
And while you do that, Diana Rivera asked, did you only do postcards or did you also follow up with calls and texts? Yes, we do. So we export our list out of DealMachine on a schedule. So it typically every 3 months we'll export our list, and it'll go into a marketing kind of like a conveyor belt of ring with voicemails, then cold calling. But our mailers are on 12-month mailers.
Every 30 days or 21?
In smaller markets, every 30 days. In hot markets like our Charlotte market, Boston, every 21 days.
For 12 months.
For 12 months.
So again, you got to be committed. Again, don't just mail them twice and think you're going to get a deal. You got to commit to mailing to that person once a month for a year. They cost you $12, but if you close a deal, you make $15,000. That pays for that $12.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Time's over.
I just wanted to show you on a spreadsheet that has addresses. This one has them. So once you click add properties and look up owner info, it's going to add them all to your account, look up the properties, and you'll get an email once it's done. So some lists that you could upload would be like pen and paper lists or spreadsheets that you had before you actually got DealMachine. So you can get those in your DealMachine account. Are there any other ones that you guys have added?
As far as which ones you saying?
Just any lists that you guys have wanted to bulk upload in the past?
Well, we were doing bulk upload just through our VA.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know the feature had went live yet.
Yeah, I told you.
It just did.
Oh, no, I didn't even know. So now I will.
Cool.
I had no idea. I knew I got the email when it was almost ready.
John Morgan has a question about compensating deal finders. I don't think we covered that yet.
If you are just starting out and you don't have a budget, don't compensate them.
On the front end.
On the front end.
Pay
Do it
on the back end.
on the back end. If once you get a little budget, so like for us, we have a couple different pay structures, which we go over in our course. One of the ways when we first started out was we were paying deal finders $1 per approved lead. And an approved lead was a lead that we said, hey, okay, this fits our buying criteria, so we're going to mail to it, so it's approved. In different markets, we would pay, you know, in a higher price point market like our Boston market, I would do $2 per approved lead because those leads were worth more. And we have deal finders who legit will make every 2 weeks. We pay on the 15th and the 30th. We are making $400, $500, $600, $800 every 2 weeks.
Just off the $1 or $2 per approved deal. Approved
leads.
Hey, Marlene.
Hey, Marlene. Oh, she chilling.
Marlene's comfortable. Hey, Marlene.
Right.
Marlene, you're muted.
You're muted.
There you go. You look like you're ready to virtually drive for dollars.
Right.
I am. I just had a back procedure. I had a stem cell transplant done last Monday.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
So
how are you feeling?
Actually pretty good. So I'm supposed to be doing what they call gentle movements. So I asked them to define that because I'm not a gentle movement kind of person. Hour that you're awake, get up, walk to the kitchen, walk around the table, and go back to your bed or your couch. And I laughed and said, what you just described to me as being dead. So I'm glad you're showing gentle movement to me, because that's not what I would have thought was gentle. But so I'm kind of taking it easy. So I'm a really good friend of Christina Spell's, which is how I, guys, for the first time, I actually went down to
my sister
here and got to go to We Live and see Max Maxwell and you guys speak, and really impressed. So I'm here in Louis with Christina, and have an office out here, and I'm looking to figure out, like, I'm 52 years old, so apps are not my thing. And I want to really learn more about how to use this app, because I'm not a person that just opens an app and sees things obviously. It's like, show me exactly what to do. So does your course go through that?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. So we go through every aspect of DealMachine. Just because we know a lot of people, that was like one of the number one questions we were always getting in our inbox. It's like, hey, how does this part work? And how does that part work?
It's intimidating, right? These apps, right? If her mother, who's like 66, could figure out how to use DealMachine to drive for dollars, and she's like, she doesn't like technology at all. You can figure it out. Right?
And y'all are really just using it virtually now at this point, or are you actually driving the neighborhoods at all? Or are you just totally doing it virtually?
We still do both.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's just because that's kind of like our date night, our get some air type thing, like just
whenever we're out, we're looking for properties.
So only time we go out now is for the grocery store, of course. But now we'll get out just to get some air with the kids, and we just drive for dollars. Because we can't really stop anywhere. But we definitely still drive for dollars, and we do it virtually. So like we went to Raleigh-Durham area this past week for another property of ours. And first thing I told him was like, oh my God, we got to come back here. But we had another appointment to get to. So I was like, look, I pinged the street that I wanted just so I can remember. So when we came back, I just started hitting the street up from the house of all
like, what, 30 properties in that one neighborhood?
Yeah, that was in like 10 minutes.
From home.
But I saved that area because I wanted to hit it, and really, really heavy with that area. So we do both. Right now, and like I said, it's a great time to get out and drive for dollars just to get some air.
She can.
Yeah.
Or just, you know, if you know your area, you don't need to go anywhere.
Yeah, you're a realtor, so I'm sure you know the neighborhoods in St. Louis that are hot, that are a lot of flips going on. I would focus in those areas where investors want to buy.
We're doing a lot of virtual wholesaling here. We've done a lot of rehabbing. Back in like the day, back in the day in 2004 to 2009, I was majorly into doing short sales. So I did a ton of short sales and loss mitigation, which is going to become really big again here soon.
Right.
But, yeah. So, so then, as you guys are doing your stuff, like how many deals are you pinning usually in a month? Like how many are you guys picking up? How many are you pinning in a month? And then how many are you pulling from that in a month?
We're pinging anywhere from just us or
Like your whole
deal.
I'm in
Anywhere
and I'm into helping
from
money.
2 to 4. You're breaking up. What'd you say?
I'm into leveraging and helping other people make money as I make money. So I kind of operate more like you guys do in that I'm constantly looking for like, who can I help? So, so how many would you guys pin in a month, and how many out of that would you typically close?
So anywhere from about 2. Right now it's slowed down a little bit. So it's probably about anywhere from 200 to 300 right now.
Okay.
And most of that comes from deal finders.
Right. A majority of it's coming from deal finders right now. And we're doing anywhere from that's just DealMachine, about 8 to 10.
Okay. That's very reasonable. That's totally doable. Okay. And then do you guys have a coupon code that you're using right now on your course?
Yep.
Dave, do you have the link?
Dave, you have your link?
Isn't it Be Polite? Oh,
for the course?
Let's see.
I think it's in the chat.
Yeah, I think Elise put it in the chat.
Yep. Highlighted.
Dave, you want to do it like a...
Somebody said, how much does it cost to have the green highlighted after you drive on them? What?
There's no cost for that.
There's no cost for the highlighting.
Yeah, I know. I'm wondering if he meant something else once you drive on them.
Oh, he meant streets highlighted. That's the route tracking. Yeah, there's a cost for that.
The route tracking?
Okay, and I'm not seeing the I'm not seeing it in the chat. Maybe I'm just missing something.
Hang on, Marlene. There, I'll get it for you.
Diego's asking, how much is the route tracking if you're on the basic plan?
So the route tracking is free, but to your whole team to see it real time while you're driving is it's an add-on for $20.
And Dedric, like what things are you guys paying for with DealMachine that you think are worthwhile?
I mean, we have everything. When we closed our first few deals, we made a lot of money, so we upgraded the enterprise right away. So, I mean, and then they also use us to test some of the new features. So we have pretty much everything, right?
Yeah. What I would say if you're just starting out to invest in would be definitely Street Pick. And depending on what level of volume, that bulk upload is going to be major. But Street Pick, what's the other one? What's the other one, Dave?
The driving routes?
Let me see. If you are just starting out, Street Pick. Look at lucrative. I couldn't help but see that. Focus on Street Pick if your budget is a little lower for DealMachine, and you want to see a quicker return on your investment. I say Street Pick is tops, and that bulk upload is going to be major. If you have a team, then you really should have the route. What is it, Dave, called?
The route tracking is
crucial. So like, I love it because we have a whole team, and some of them are in the same markets. But yeah, those would be my suggestions.
I'm actually not in a situation where I've got like a hardcore budget or anything. So like I can pretty much put into it what I need to put into it. So at the point where you guys are, you know, what do you actually use as far as features go? What do you actually pay for that works for you guys?
We pay for everything. And what I say we utilize the most is basically what I need at the time, including even the handwritten notes. Like I use those for specific deals, more so probate leads. So those have went over well, the handwritten letters for the probate leads that we send out. the ones that I use daily is the street pick feature. The bulk upload I haven't tried yet, but that's what I've been begging them for. So that's come because I've been like on them, like I need a bulk upload because I've been having our VA do it.
One by one.
One by one.
Correct. Oh, wow.
For like a year or two now, about 2 years now. So that's gonna help us tremendously now. So yeah, that's what we're using daily.
And how many people do you have on your team currently that you've got working DealMachine for you guys, including yourselves?
Probably about 48.
Wow. All right, that's pretty awesome.
The enterprise plan includes everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a question too. Somebody asked.
It's like $300 a month. So if you're looking to scale and do like 5-10 deals a month, you need enterprise.
Okay. That helps.
Marlene, it was so nice to meet you. And who's your friend?
Her sister Kane will probably come in here the moment she realizes I'm playing with Lexi. But yeah, so Lexi is 15 pounds and Katie is 13 pounds. And they're little, so they're very, very, very close. But
so cute.
yeah.
Someone asked, do we use DealMachine alongside PropStream? Yes, we do. PropStream is a very powerful app as well as far as pulling comps and pulling lists. So we use that as well.
And
I brought Natasha back. She had another question. Natasha, you're muted. I'm going to unmute you.
Okay.
There you go.
hey, Natasha.
Hey. Were you talking about the buyer's question?
Well, I saw you'd posted more recently that said if you add 500 properties a month, will you be spending $12,000 a month by the end of the year?
Yeah, is that right?
You know, it's I thought the Polites could answer, but basically,
Oh, what did she say? I didn't hear.
She's saying like she's just trying to be like, if I add 250 properties a week and I mail to all of them, then wouldn't my budget be $12,000 a month by the end of the year?
No, because you're not going to always be mailing to 250 properties a month, because a lot of them people are going to call you, say, hey, I'm not looking to sell, or you're going to get return to sender mail, which is these right now. These are gold, by the way, just to let you guys know.
What's that?
Those are return to sender. So
yellow.
with the little yellow, you can probably see it. The return to sender. You do direct mail for those, not for the ones that are actually hitting. So that's what a lot of people don't understand, is you really do direct mail for the ones that come back. Reason being because 9 times out of 10, people get these and they just let them go to the wayside.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
that's what I would do.
If you're getting them,
she goes deeper.
Everyone else is getting them too. And it's only going to be 1 to 2% of investors who's really going to deep dive into these and really go undercover and look for where this person is.
These are not deliverable. Return to sender. The address didn't work. Accurate address.
So if you go that extra mile to find out where this person lives, who this person is, their address, their phone number, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be the only person talking to this person.
Because most other investors gave up. They're too hard to find.
Absolutely.
And if you can locate this person and get them on the phone, and they might be motivated, because there's a reason you can't reach them. They don't want to be found.
Absolutely.
But if you can track them down, it's called yeah, you might have a really motivated seller and a great deal in your hands.
Yep.
Okay.
You gotta be. My wife is like the FBI. She's gonna track you down.
Yeah. Remember, you're not gonna always, like I said, have 250 properties going out. You're gonna have people who's gonna call in and say, hey, yeah, look, I'm interested in selling, but call me back in 6 months.
Yeah.
Call me back in 8 months. You're not gonna keep mailing to these same people. You're gonna be stopping mailer on these people.
Okay. So could you tell me what I should expect? So I work a part-time job to pay for my wholesaling bills. Can you tell me, like in your first year, what the fair amount for me to expect that I should be, be working for to pay for the mailing?
So what's your current budget? set aside for the mailing?
0.
Okay.
You want to
So,
have a budget.
Are you on the basic plan?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I would suggest, like I tell everyone, and we actually have a module on this in our course because that's how we did it. We broke it down when we first started and gave ourselves a budget of $200. And the basic plan at the time was $50, right?
Yeah.
Right. It is. It's $49 a month.
$49 a month. So that included the $49 dollars for the actual plan.
150 mailers.
So that was $150 for mailers at that point. And we had to keep that budget every month.
We did that for about 3 months.
And we did that exactly until we closed our first deal. So first thing you have to do is set a budget.
We have the part-time job to pay for it.
Absolutely.
So you need to now set a budget.
And make sure you include the actual cost of the software. Because some people are like, oh, I did that, but now I'm at like $250 or $300 because they never included the actual software. So include that. And you can always check inside a DealMachine and you can see how many mailers you have currently going out with marketing. And every week I have my DealMachine manager send me the numbers on what we have going out in marketing. Just like I have our list exported. Remember, when you guys are uploading these lists in the DealMachine, you own those properties. So don't let them just sit there. Constantly be exporting them. One thing we don't do is we don't take anything off mailer unless someone calls and says, hey, I'm not interested in selling. Or, hey, I am interested in selling. That's when we stop mailer. But even when we export the list and we start cold calling or we hit them with ringless voicemail, we still have a mailer going out.
Mm-hmm.
We don't stop the mailer. We're just now looking to see, hey, maybe they'll respond to a voicemail or maybe they'll respond to a text message or a phone call.
Okay.
So keep that in mind as well.
All right. Thanks. That helps.
You're welcome. We got to talk to Lucrative because he is killing me right now.
Let's get him on here. All right. Thanks, Natasha.
Yeah. Thank you.
He is hilarious.
Oh, no. Is he on? He's not showing up on my list anymore.
Oh, there we go.
Popped up.
There we go.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
How you doing?
Good.
How you doing? Hey, I'm glad I could grab your attention. I'm actually a business account manager, so prospecting is my lifestyle. So I had to do something to get your attention. And this
okay.
So,
you got it.
Hi.
We decided a couple of weeks ago, just being honest with you, that we wanted to go into wholesale. Well, 2 questions. 1, how are you all closing virtually? And 2, we're having a really tough time deciding which software to purchase. We know for a fact DealMachine is one.
I think the concern is, for us and particularly for him, having sort of a CRM or some kind of software where you can sort of keep track of, your deals, keep track of people that you need to follow up with, keep track of certain things. And, we were even going as far as looking into, like a Salesforce or something,
So I'm a sales guy, right? Account management, so I understand the whole prospecting thing.
Yeah.
So, a CRM is very important, right? Because if you're trying to follow up with people and you got a pen and pad and you're trying to remember that, it's not going to work. You got 100 leads to work with. So, early on in our business, we invested in Podio. We invested in Investor Fuse built on top of Podio. That's our CRM we still use to this day. We use it for 2 years. So that's what we use as our CRM. Super powerful system. You got automated follow-ups and emails and texts that go out. So that's what we use for our CRM.
You also can keep your cash buyers there as well. We contact and speak to
So
our
once
cash
the
buyers
lead comes
there.
in from DealMachine, they call us and say, hey, I want to sell. We immediately put them into our CRM, which is Podio/Investor Fuse. And I start working the deal or the opportunity until it closes or doesn't close.
Okay. So isn't there a way to link DealMachine to Podio?
Yep.
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah, that's what I was
Zapier. Is it Zapier or Zapier?
I think I say Zapier.
Okay, yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
I literally just Googled that, like before we got on.
Use both. Our very first list that I pulled came from Really Flow that I uploaded into DealMachine.
Okay.
And I did it myself, and I just did a super filtered list of about 67 names.
Okay.
And I uploaded that entire list into DealMachine, and it came from Really Flow because they offered free lists at the time.
It was like a 30-day trial.
Yeah, for free
we
30-day trial.
Okay. The names and addresses.
But what I'll say is we've used both.
Cool, that helps. And while I got y'all, just one more question. So I know you all were talking about closing deals virtually.
Yep.
What does that look like? I couldn't wrap my mind around it. You know, like I understood the absentee owner return address, but once you get a deal and you put somebody under a contract, how do you close it without being there? I couldn't figure it out.
Let's fast forward to the end. How you virtually close is there's things called mobile notaries. So we bought in rental properties in Cleveland, Ohio. We're in North Carolina, and we didn't have to fly up to Cleveland. We said, hey, send a notary to our office, FedEx the document. She's going to bring the paperwork. We're going to sign it in front of the mobile notary, FedEx it back. Closed. We didn't have to go to Ohio to do that.
Yep.
And now if you want to back up, there's a lot of steps as far as getting the property in the contract virtually. It's a lot more.
Let me ask you this. Where do you guys live now?
We're in Atlanta.
Are you from Atlanta?
No, I'm not.
She's from LA and I'm from South Georgia, which is Albany, Georgia. So.
Okay, so we live in North Carolina. We are from Boston. Boston is not considered virtual to us because we grew up there, just like LA would be to you. You know that like the back of your hand, right? Same thing for you in Georgia. Yeah. So you have people, you have friends there, you have boots on the ground. You have an address of someone there that you can use as a return address.
Your cousin, your aunt.
Even if you had to get a P.O. box or mailbox there, you have someone who can go and check the mail for you for any return postcards.
So I guess it's really not virtual. It's virtual, but it's not.
Exactly. I always tell people, if you're going to try to go virtual, try and look for, a lot of people are no longer living where they grew up.
Yeah, you're right.
So
your hometown.
Pick an area that's really not virtual to you, because if you get a deal there, so if someone sends you a deal from LA, you know that area like the back of your hand. So you really don't need to go to know, hey, that's a bad area, or oh, that's a good area of LA, or hey, I need someone to go tell me about that area. You know all the areas there. So it's virtual, but it's really not going to be virtual to you. Okay. So that's really all virtual investing is. You automatically, right now you have friends and family in those markets that can easily drive for dollars for you. You have an area where you can say, hey, listen, hey, auntie, I need to use your address, or hey, listen, can somebody go get me a P.O. box or a mailbox for me for your return address. Pictures. Then you can use, we use CallRail for our phone numbers, but you can use like a Google Voice number. Or whatever for a local number for that area.
Mm-hmm. Is this just to make them feel comfortable because they feel like you're local and they feel like you're in the area?
Absolutely.
Even on your postcards, if you're calling, you're doing LA and you're in Atlanta, you need to use an LA number on the postcard. Yep. Right. They're not going to call an Atlanta number. They're going to be like, what's this?
Yep.
I got you.
And you make them think that you live there. You don't say, hey, well, I'm currently, and if they say, hey, well, come by and take a look at the picture. Oh my God, absolutely. I'm currently actually out of town, but I'm gonna send my partner.
Yep.
So we're always out of town at that exact moment. We don't tell them until they say, well, you know, when would you like to come by and take a look at the picture? He's gonna schedule like, hey, well, how about Thursday? How about Wednesday? As soon as we can get them to lock it up, whatever date, that's when he says, okay, well, I'm actually gonna be out of town that day, but I'm gonna send my partner. So you don't even tell them you're out of town until the moment you have that appointment scheduled.
I got you.
And then you let them know, like, perfect. Listen, I'll be out of town because I'm actually purchasing another everything we do is always real estate related. So when we tell someone, hey, listen, I'm actually going to be in a meeting or something, it's, you know, actually I'm going to be in a closing at that exact moment, but I'm going to send my partner. I'm actually going to be out of town at that on that day, but I'm closing on another property, so I'm going to send my partner. Mm-hmm. That just gives you a lot more credibility. They're like, oh,
they don't even know you live in
town. Exactly. So it's virtual, but it's not. I tell people, don't even overthink it, because DealMachine really made it super easy for us to go virtual. I mean, super freaking easy.
Ooh, I'm not gonna hold y'all up because I'm glad I finally got y'all's attention.
No problem. Make sure y'all join our co-preneur group too on Facebook.
Yeah.
We will. What's the name of it?
called The Co-preneur.
Okay.
He'll put it in the chat, but it's for any couples in entrepreneurship.
All right, cool. Now we're definitely on there. We appreciate y'all so much.
Thank
Oh,
you.
you're welcome.
We'll leave y'all alone now.
Y'all good.
Be lucrative.
Some good prospecting.
Man, that was a lot of information. That's awesome. I heard some kids in the background. Were they your kids or were they Lucrative's kids?
Our kids, they're getting a little restless.
I wish they were lucratives.
Well, it's been 2 hours. So that's
Yeah.
been a full extra hour here. So I just wanted to thank you guys.
Oh, you're welcome.
You're
you know,
welcome.
anything for you guys.
It's always a pleasure being on with DealMachine
Appreciate it.
family.
You know, you guys are family now. I swear, yeah, whenever we're all in the same town, we be like, hey, you're going to be in town too? Oh, hey, let's get up and go eat.
100%. That's exactly what we're going to do. What can we direct people to before they sign off? We've got the co-preneur group, and I've also posted in here a few times the drivingfordollarscourse.com.
Yeah, I just uploaded our super social, which is like all of our links to resources.
Oh, great. That's great.
Kind of like Linktree.
Yep.
Everyone check us out, or you can even go to our Instagram, and we're gonna add that to our bio.
Yeah,
on Instagram.
Everything is Be Polite. So you can find us on
YouTube,
anything Be Polite.
Instagram, Facebook under Be Polite. And of course, check out the course. It's pretty much an A to Z on how to get started driving for dollars, how to build a team, how to scale a business, not just wholesaling, but buy and hold rental properties. There's a lot of value in there.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Guys, check out those links. Lily, make sure you get in touch with us for a hat for getting that lead. And everyone else, I hope you guys have an awesome night. And thank you again, Krystal and Dedric, for joining us. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
guys for joining us and taking a little time out your day, your night, actually.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Bye for now, guys.
Bye.
Bye.